We're diving headfirst today into a topic that we know a lot of you are wrestling with out there, and that is accounting software for nonprofits. Specifically, we've had a ton of you send in questions and resources about QuickBooks.
QuickBooks, the old standby.
Exactly. And whether it's really up to the task when it comes to the unique needs of nonprofit accounting.
Yeah, particularly around fund accounting.
Yes, fund accounting. We're going to get into all the nitty-gritty details of that. So to do that, we've got a couple of great sources that we are going to be digging into today.
That's right.
We've got, let's see, an article called QuickBooks for Nonprofits, Does It Handle Fund Accounting? By Joseph Scarano. And we're also pulling from some key takeaways from Kathy Ivens' book, Running QuickBooks in Nonprofits.
A classic.
Yeah, so between these two, I think we are going to get a really good comprehensive picture. What we're really trying to answer today, right, is QuickBooks. It's so popular, so many people use it, so many people are familiar with it.
I mean, I feel like it's like the Kleenex of accounting software. Everyone just calls it QuickBooks.
Right. But does it really, does it stand up to the very specific needs of nonprofits, particularly when it comes to compliance and reporting?
Right. Because you're right. I mean, it's ubiquitous. So many people use it. But those are some really, really big concerns when you are in the nonprofit space.
Absolutely. So we are going to try to get to the bottom of all that.
Yeah.
So let's start with the basics, I guess. What's so different about nonprofit accounting compared to, a typical for-profit business?
Right. What's the big deal?
Yeah, what's the big deal?
Well, the big deal is, I think Scarano's article summed it up really well. It's about demonstrating that accountability. Nonprofits are accountable to funders, and not just internal stakeholders, but to external funders. And they have to generate very specific reports.
Right. And it's about proving that the money that you are getting, the donations, grants, whatever it might be, is being used in the way it was intended to be used.
In the way it was intended to be used, and that you're being responsible stewards of it. And that doesn't exist, not in the same way, in the for-profit world.
Right. For-profit companies aren't necessarily having to prove where every dollar went.
Right. They're accountable to their shareholders for the most part, and that looks very different.
Yeah. And I think, trying to shoehorn, as Scarano puts it, trying to force fit a commercial accounting software that's really made for a for-profit structure. It's sort of why we're even having this conversation, right?
Exactly. It's starting to look a little problematic.
Right. So this brings us to fund accounting, which I think is kind of at the heart of this issue.
It is.
Can you just, for folks who maybe aren't super familiar, break down what exactly fund accounting is?
Yeah. So basically, fund accounting is all about keeping different pots of money separate. So nonprofits often receive funds that are restricted by donors or grantors.
Nice.
And so fund accounting provides a system for tracking and reporting on those resources based on those restrictions. So it's all about transparency. It's all about compliance.
Right. And it can get kind of complicated, I would imagine, right?
It can. I mean, Scarano points out some of the big challenges there are, like you said, that transparency, making sure everything is above board, complying with all the laws and regulations, because the IRS looks at nonprofits differently, obviously, than they look at for-profits. And, managing all those different pots of money, which you have to keep separate. And then ultimately you have to generate these reports. They have to be right, be accurate, and they have to follow all the rules.
So it sounds like fund accounting is so much more than just kind of like a for-profit company that might say, okay, this is our marketing budget, this is our sales budget.
It's completely different. Yeah, and I think Scarano actually addressed this in the article. It's not just about saying this is for this department, this is for that department. This is about making sure that donor restrictions are adhered to, legal requirements are met, and all those different funds are managed correctly.
Visit arrays.com and read the QuickBooks Does It Handle Fund Accounting blog post.